Are you looking for early years ICT resources? Well, today on a Resource Review ICT Special, we'll be evaluating 3 that you might want to consider for your classroom. They are a CD-ROM of magical school exercises, a downloadable storytelling package, and a remote control car. Recommending the resources today, we have Graham Downs, Senior Lecturer in ICT for Early Years and Primary Education at Bath Spa University. On the panel today is Claire DeVille, Early Years and Key Stage 1 Coordinator at Victoria Community School in Burton-on-Trent, and Colin Hinson, a freelance educational advisor. Now, over in the test lab, Matthew Tosh, our resident ICT investigator, is standing by to give us a tour of the resources. Well, Graham, your first choice for us today is a resource called The Magic School. Tell us about it and why you like it.
OK, this is a Magic School which comes on CD-ROM, which you load onto a standalone computer onto a network. The reason I've chosen it is because it's a virtual environment within which you can create your own avatar, which in effect means you can actually upload photos of children. They can then use their photo, develop their own character, and then explore this virtual environment with their own avatar as part of that world. Ah. It's very much child-centred. The idea is that children develop their IT skills through problem solving, which is probing the environment, multitasking. So it's very much taking a child-centred approach to the development of ICT capability. Why
have you picked out the Magic School?
Well, there's 2 reasons I chose this one. One is that it's brand new, but also it's this idea that you can create your own avatar, which I've not seen before. There are lots of other products which are similar, and I would bracket under the generic category, which is micro worlds, but I've not seen one which you can actually explore with your own avatar as part of that world, which I think is very exciting.
OK, well, thank you very much. To find out more about what goes on inside the Magic School, let's go over to Matthew.
You can go back to your childhood days of exploring and playing with objects in this resource. It features 3 characters in a playroom, and you can customise them before you start the game. I'll show you that now. We can click on here and add different clothes to the pictures, but there's something even better. You can actually add some faces if you want to. So we'll do that for the girl, and we'll add another mugshot for that one. What a motley crew. Let's send them into the playroom. So here we are then in the playroom, and all the objects around us are interactive. You can just drag a character over to that object and it starts up an activity. Now, if this is a bit difficult for small hands, you can actually just click on the object to start the activity. So I think we'll drag Hermione over, actually we'll take Hermione over to the plant.
Would you like to go to the plant activity?
Now this one's quite nice because you need to water the plant to get it to grow, so we need to put some water in the watering can first. And then you click on the watering can to water the pot. And hey presto, a plant grows. Now all of the objects work in a similar way, and some of the activities feature sound as well, like this one here.
Incy Wincy Spider climbed up the water spout.
Lovely. Now children can play with a bit of art here by clicking on the play button here. You can have a go at recreating the picture with the icons, and it's fairly intuitive. The arrows guide you through the programme, so there's no complicated controls. And finally we can have a little bit of fun with the helium balloon. Hey, there she goes. Sorry, Hermione. I'll hand you back.
Well, Graham, I could see that a pupil could have lots of fun in that one room, but there is only one room. I mean, there is a sort of tantalising door, but it doesn't go anywhere at the moment. Is that a bit of a limitation?
I'd have to agree with that at the moment. I mean, as I said at the beginning, it's a brand new product that's on the market. The strategy is to actually add rooms regularly over a period of time, so actually it will expand and grow. OK, well, let's go over now to Claire. How did you, as a teacher, and how did your pupils respond to the Magic School?
Well, my pupils really enjoyed playing with the Magic School. It was really easy for them to use by themselves. In fact, we didn't use it as a whole class, we just used it with pairs or individual children, exploring the rooms and going in and out and trying out each of the activities. I did find the programme did have some limitations, however. Some of the activities were oversimplistic and didn't really meet the needs of the children when talking about particular learning objectives.
Graham, what would you say to that?
The children I've used it with were incredibly engrossed in it. I mean, one thing I would say is, hopefully as it expands, you know, the idea of the beauty of multiple objectives, as it were, where children can have control, is that they can find the level that's right for them.
I found it really useful with my special educational needs children and for my very young children, because they were able to access this as opposed to the more high-level skills through a different activity. So it sort of was more appropriate for SEN nursery and low-level reception children.
OK, well, there's a good comment from Claire. Colin, what do you think of the Magic School?
When I was looking at this, I was thinking that would be great to do that in a whole class situation. And it occurred to me when I was looking at this particular product that it is not designed for whole class teaching, which is a shame, and I think they've missed a trick there, because collaborative ICT is extremely important as well, and it would have been nice to have had some material on here that could be used by the teacher with all of his or her pupils sitting in front of them with an interactive whiteboard, actually doing some whole class work as well. So it would be nice to have some of that too.
OK, well, now let's move on to Graham's second choice of resource, and this is called Microsoft Photo Story version 3. Graham, tell us about this one.
It's basically a way of compiling photographs, narrating over the top of them, adding music and adding text. But the beauty of it is again, coming back to the point about simplicity and speed. And I think what that then affords in the classroom is an immediacy, that actually you can have photographs taken, put them into a multimodal environment very quickly for the children to see. And I think that creates all sorts of potentials, particularly in early years education. And it is so simple to use that I really think I've not seen anyone struggle with it. And again, it's a speed. To do the same thing in PowerPoint would require a level of expertise and would take a lot longer to put together. OK, well, for a bit more of a tour of Photo Story version 3, let's go over to Matthew in the test lab.
Prepare to be let into the secret of my morning routine with Photo Story. The programme allows you to put together a story using photos and then save them as a video file for playback on your computer. Now, I have a project started at the moment which I just need to finish off, and you can see it on the screen here. I just want to add one more photo by clicking on the Import Pictures button. And finding a photo is just like finding a file on your computer, really. There it is. Once you've added your photos, you can change the order of them just by clicking and dragging them across. Now, for small hands using mice, this might be a bit of a problem, so you can use the arrows on the right-hand side to jog your photos to the left or to the right. Well, now that my photos are in, I can add some text to them. So you can't read that very clearly, so I'm just going to click on this font button here and use the palette to change the colour. And then we can move it to the bottom using this button here, so that's quite clear now. OK, now once you've done all that, you can add voiceover tracks to your pictures. You can even add music on the next screen, so there's lots you can do. So I'm just going to click on Save Story for Playback and hit the next button, and the computer renders it. Well, that's the hard work done. All I need to do now is to leave you with my finished product.
Well, Graham, I can see how Photo Story would be a useful resource for the teacher, but how is the ICT element really going to be evident to the pupils? What are they going to get out of using it?
Well, there's two elements to that question, in effect. One is that children within the early years curriculum need to see uses of ICT in the wider world, so it gives them that aspect in terms of seeing a use.
Right.
But also the second question is actually outside the remit, if you like, of ICT, which is that actually ICT affords different learning or types of learning in the classroom, so it's actually changing the classroom environment itself.
Well, Claire, you've used Photo Story with your class. How did it go down?
Well, we absolutely loved it in my class. We used it as part of a whole school project about pattern and ICT. And what we did is we actually made a story based on a traditional story, The Greedy Zebra. And basically what we did was created pictures using colour magic. and the children put them into the photo story with my support, and then sequenced the pictures that were appropriate and made their own photo story. It's so straightforward to use. You just import the pictures and put in the text on top of it, and the children all had a part in that.
OK, well, Colin, what do you think of it as a teaching resource?
Well, I thought it was great, going back to what I was saying with the first resource, that this is a fantastic as a whole class resource, and you used it really well, I think, with the whole class. The other thing it does, of course, is that because the technology is in your hands, or the teacher's hands rather than the pupils, it actually releases the pupils from worrying about the technology and allows them to move forward with that sort of creativity, so that they can concentrate on that and see the end product of their creativity almost instantly as the teacher, as he or she creates it using this product. I think it's great.
OK, well, now let's move on to Graham's third choice of resource, and something very different, a remote control car. So tell us about it, but what I really want to know is how this is an ICT resource.
Right, I think that's the critical question, in effect, that actually, again, coming back to children's understanding of the world, that IT or technology isn't just a computer, it's not a black box, it's all around us. I particularly like this one because the remote control part is built into the roof of the car, so it's nice and easy and doesn't get lost, which is something I've always found in the past. You turn it on underneath.
OK.
And I'm only going to try and drive it backwards and forwards on here. But one of the other things I like about this particular model is that when you turn left or right, the model will actually go forwards and turn at the same time. Most remote control cars, you actually have to press 2 buttons.
OK.
So here we go.
Oh my God, I'm ready to catch it.
Look at that. Perfect
OK,
control.
so how would you advocate pupils using it?
There's definitely a case for letting children just have a go. Again, it's probing, asking them to sort of see if they can work out the controls themselves. Beyond that, again, certain targets or environments can be created within which it can be used. You could have a map on the floor, see if they could follow, get the car to move around the map. You could invent scenarios where you link it to stories. I mean, we've had an example of a ICT linking to a text. I mean, a couple of examples where I've used it is taking the bear hunt story and having the car dressed up as a family, and it moves around the different parts of the bear hunt. Or another one would be with the Incy Wincy spider and seeing whether they can get it forwards and backwards up and down the drain pipe.
Right, OK.
So it can be used in those.
So there's lots of possibilities.
Yeah.
Claire, how did you find it? I mean, is the lack of a programmable element significant?
No, I think the important part of this is using the forwards, backwards, left and right movements. I mean, it's so difficult for the children to understand those terms particularly, never mind getting them onto the programmable parts. And I think more complicated toys where you can add that element in are sometimes a bit beyond them, so
Right,
it really fits the bill well.
So basic is good in this case. Colin, a final comment from you?
Lovely in terms of learning about distance and spatial awareness and so on. Absolutely fantastic. The only thing I will say is keep it locked up, because at the end of the day the teachers will want to do it themselves.
Well, thank you all very much. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. But to recap, the 3 resources that we looked at were Magic School from Electronic Blackboard Limited, Photo Story version 3 from the Microsoft Corporation, and a remote control car, available from TTS Group Limited. For more information about the resources we've discussed, go to our website. It's teachers.tv/resource review, or email us resourcereview@teachers.tv. I'd like to say a very big thank you to our panel, to Graham and to Claire and to Colin. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Resource Review. Bye-bye.